My name's Anthony Pascariello. I topped Yu-Gi-Oh! Nationals in 2011 and 3 YCSs back-to-back in 2012. Although I stopped playing in 2013, I've rediscovered my passion for the game through older formats and love sharing ideas about how to play. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Masterclass. I'm by no means a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. What's going on, guys? The Poker Rapper here, and I've been playing a ton of Edison format lately. I've always said it's my favorite format even before I knew it was Edison format. I just called it the format before Shining Darkness, and I told people about that all the time. Oh, there was one format in particular right before Shining Darkness came out that was the best, and when I realized it was gaining popularity and that other people even knew about it, I was super excited. So I've just been playing a ton of it lately, and it seems like it's getting more and more popular, and I wanted to go kind of in depth about how I play the different decks so far and what I've experienced. And right now I would say my favorite deck is Frog Monarchs, although I do love a ton of decks, and I'm so happy with the variety in this format. And I just want to go into a little detail about the deck and then play a game or two and show everyone how I play it. So a deck like this, essentially, turn 1, you want to have a Treeborn Frog in grave, you want to have a Monarch set up for turn 2, you even possibly could have a Lad set up for turn 2, should you have a Brain Control, an Econ, or a Soul Exchange. The Substitute, Swap Frog, Treeborn Frog line, those are 8 cards out of 40, so that's a good fifth of your deck, 20% chance you're going to open a card like that, and with Upstart Goblin, 1-for-1, you're going to get there even sooner. Spiritual Water Art, I like a lot. It's a dust shoe, except it doesn't put it back in the deck. It puts it in the graveyard, and it could be any card, even spells and traps. So just getting the knowledge of your opponent's hand is big, but also being able to take any card out of it and put it in the graveyard is really, really huge. All the Monarchs are great. I mean, these are pretty much free. You go -1 on turn 1 if you summon Swap Frog or Substitute, get Swap Frog on the field, get Treeborn in the grave, you Water Art, and then, your opponent draws, you flip Water Art, they're at 5, you're at 4, but you have all the knowledge of their hand, you have a huge advantage in that way, and next turn your Treeborn's coming back, so that's a +1, and then when he continues to come back, you're just generating pluses, because all the Monarchs do so much, and Lad does so much too. Dark Dust Spirit is very good if they have multiple monsters. Gores is amazing, and Battle Fader is just a game saver and also an alternate way to drop your Monarchs. Soul Exchange is very, very good because it gets rid of one of their monsters. It gets a Monarch on the field. If they bottomless it, you just went 2 for 2 with their monster. They're bottomless, your Soul Exchange, your Thestalos, except you're getting a card out of their hand, which is great. Raioh and Caius basically do the same thing, except if you hit a bottomless or hit a card that gets it off the field, then you're going 2 for 2 as opposed to getting a plus. But the deck's pretty straightforward. It's not crazy Fishborg Blaster combo deck or anything like that. I like this deck a lot. It's more control, and it gives you a lot of options, and it kind of just keeps you in the game for a long time because it's very resilient, even without having the dupe Frog lock, and there are just a lot of good frogs you could play. But I like this build very much. It's very straight up, and then your side deck is going to get 3 Dust Tornado because they're going to side in Rivalry of Warlords, they're going to side in Pulling the Rug, they're going to side in DD Crow, and you want to make sure, Dust Tornado doesn't stop DD Crow obviously, but it stops the back rows, and yeah, you want to put Jujis in because, once they DD Crow your Frog, you really don't want to have to rely on just Soul Exchange and Faders and stuff. You want to have other monsters. DD Crow is just so good in this format. I think it stops at least 10 different decks, right? There are so many decks that, especially the biggest decks, Quick Draw, Vayu, Malleys, the second they hit the graveyard, Treeborns, Lightsworn monsters for Judgment Dragon, just the list goes on for stuff like that. DD Crow is very, very important. And Vanity's Fiend, is so good too. It stops Gladiator Beast, it stops Quick Draw, it stops just special summoning is humongous in this format. There's no max C. It's turn 1. You can just really do whatever you want. The second you put a Vanity's Fiend on the field, it really it cripples a lot of decks. Torrential is good. I'm not 100% on it yet, but I do like it because it clears up certain matchups. And Knock, I think, is really good too, although this deck doesn't really need Knock too much because the Monarchs kind of are monster removal for themselves. So let's jump into a game and see what we could do. Welcome to the Raioh Pop Golden, the Poker Wrapper, Edison Format Masterclass. I don't know if I'm going to call it that. It seems a little cocky. Well, it's a Masterclass, not a master. I mean, I try my best. I don't even think we have to summon Swap Frog. Alright, so turn 1. Here we go. Probably should talk about what's going on, right? I'm going to set this. I'm going to set this. There's no reason to summon Swap Frog just yet. Let's just get our Treeborn in there. I guess we could summon Swap Frog, bring it back and whatnot, but it's going to be it. So thanks so much for watching this Masterclass episode. And, yeah, well, no, I'm just kidding. All right, let's find a different game. Here we go. Cool sleeves, cool avatar, probably a cool person. Alright, so let's, as we look at our hand here, alright, let's see what they're doing. Let's try to get as much info as we can. So, Allure. Gores is out of the picture right away. Okay, that's good. Greffer. Could be Value Turbo. Could be the Norlaris deck. I don't think that deck plays Gores. Yep, looks like a Value Turbo it is, which is going to be okay with us. Because we got a card called Caius. So, okay, one of those could be Oppression. But we're pretty much good on all accounts right now, right? Could keep him guessing. I could just set Treeborn. Next turn, Cold Wave sack for Caius. Armed Wing doesn't get over Caius. I think that's the play. We don't want to give him too much, and I feel like maybe he has Oppression set. And we could also Caius one of the back row, try to get Oppression out of there. If it is Oppression, I mean, I don't think he's going to go too crazy right now. He might just pitch and let fill up the graveyard even more, is what I'm trying to say. No reason to overextend. Maybe set a Raioh. Yeah, that seems fair. But that's pretty good for us now. He is going to use Greffer again. He's another Value. Wow, yeah, he's loading up the grave. But good thing for us is that the monster's kind of small. Right, Armed Wing? So I really want to see how this deck pairs against that. So we can Cold Wave right off the rip. See if he has anything for that. Nothing. That's great. We have to answer the questions, right? This is probably a Raioh, so we have to get that out of there. Sure is. We're going to attack that Greffer. So, no Dark Arm, right? Unless he removes all of his cards and then attacks into my thing and takes 200. He could... It's still a funny play. I mean, isn't an ideal matchup for us, but... We'll see. We'll see where it goes right now. Let's see. Alright, so we're drawing a lot of frogs. Now, interestingly enough, we have 3 Lad in this deck, but we actually don't want to draw the Lads because Value doesn't remove to negate. So it can just destroy us very quickly. I feel like that's Raioh again. It could be a 3rd Value. I don't want to get Mirror Force. I don't want to lose my Caius, but I'm going to normal summon Frog anyway because I don't think he's in a Torrential, and if he does Mirror Force, then we're still fine with the Stalos. That's fine. So, boom. Could be Sangan, but yeah, I'm going to put 2nd Treeborn engraved so we don't draw it, and here we go. Okay, it's a Gardener. That's fine. So we're fine, right? So they went first and they have 3 to our what's going to be 5. They have 2 Armed Wings in the grave. They can start putting pressure on if they want. I mean, I wouldn't just do that and attack into Gores. It seems a little crazy for right now unless they're trying to put pressure on. But some players play like that. And he is just going to do that. Maybe he has Dark Arm. which still wouldn't be able to. I mean, I guess he could just remove for Necro for the next attack, but I don't know about that play. That's pretty risky, and I would love to be able to punish players when they do things like that. Unfortunately, now this is plus a value is going to get him to a 2,500 Armor Master that we can't really do anything about. So I'm going to take the Armor Master next turn and tribute it with Substitute. But for right now, I'm just going to bring the Stalos on the field. I'm going to say his other back row might be Oppression, unless it's Solemn Judgment. I'm going to go for this one. Let's see. Okay, just an MST, nothing crazy. I'm going to attack. If he has Torrential Mirror Force or Deep Prison or something, that's okay. So this is going accordingly, right? If he Necro Gardenas, then he still wouldn't be able to get over, right? So now he's probably going to remove them both, attack for 100, in which case next turn we get his board cleared. Now he has no more values, and I feel like now we're playing late game. But he's going to have Dark Arm ready, but that's fine, I think. I'll take that 100. Another Monarch would be spectacular. Actually, that's pretty spectacular. That's probably the best card we could draw, considering he has... Yeah, that has to banish for costs. So yeah, he has no more values. So I'm actually going to Econ. I'm going to take this Armor Master. Unless he has something to stop that. If he has a book, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. But he does not. Boom, Torrential's gone. In fact, I am going to go with my gut that it's Oppression in the back. It might not be. But his resources are pretty cleared up. We have Monarchs in the grave to come back. He has no values. He has a Necro. We can negate. He took 500 instead of 28 for some reason. It's 23 more. That's good. Alright, so good position. Even a card like Glad that isn't very good against this deck ended up being very good just because the way he used his resources. Now, this entire game would have played out differently had he kept both values in the grave from the beginning and not removed to make that first armed wing. Now I feel like he's in a really tight position. Yeah, where he pitches, I will negate. If it's a value, then that's a great card to have. Then he could have Silverwind or another armed wing, I believe. But I believe it's a cost. I'm not trying to be mean at all. Sometimes I feel like it comes across kind of mean when you say certain things. But on Dueling Book it gets a little funky because sometimes they could activate the effect and you don't know if they know the ruling properly. So, and the good thing about Lad is in this position is we can negate twice and still get over Greffer safely. So if he tries to use Necro Gardener or Plague Spreader or something. Okay, so now we're in a good spot, right? We just made him use a lot of resources. Okay, he's gonna pass. So now we would like, ideally, a Monarch. I saw him enter battle phase and I thought that myself. Now ideally we would like a Monarch, although I think we're in a good spot, right? He's got that Plague. He can run this over and then we're going to have a Monarch. that Plague Spreader might see play. I do want to think this is Oppression, but I'm not going to ask him. I'm going to ask him. Nah, he's not going to tell me. I don't want him to tell me. Alright, this card beats that deck pretty heavily, right? DD Crow beats that deck pretty heavily. But we don't even... I guess Crow is good against that deck, but do we really even need it, you know? Do we really even need it if we have Vanity's Fiend? I'm going to take our Water Arts out. I'm going to put our Vanity's Fiends in. Upstart Goblin's going to get us there quicker. He has a lot of back rows. It's a back row heavy deck. And I know it gets a little hairy now when you mix trap cards with frogs. But I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to throw in... I mean, Dust Tornado is the side deck for their side deck, not for their main deck. So they're most likely pulling the rugs right now, probably some DD Crows and stuff. And when they put Crows in, that makes it hard for our Treeborn to come back and bring Vanity's Fiend in, right? So I'm just gonna put in 2 Dusts for now, because we're not gonna have as many Monarchs. 2 Dusts and a Torrential, and I'm gonna take out with the Stalos, put an Upstart Goblin back in. I almost want to take out Vanity's Fiend and put in a DD Crow. I almost want to let him just do... I'm going to play it like this, I think. I'm going to take out this 1 for 1 as well and put another Upstart in. We have Soul Exchanges. I think 3 Vanity's Fiend should really, really shut that deck down. So let's see how it goes. And then game 3, if it goes to that... Oh, okay, this is a really nice hand. Really, really nice hand. Even without our frogs. Game 3, if we have to put Water Art back in, we can do all that and set up and try to get cards out of his hand, although Sirocco and stuff are better in the graveyard. Excuse me. Alright, so now we really want to see Vanity's Fiend, right? Hopefully just 1 back row, that's good. Okay, Cold Wave's good. Let's start with an Upstart Goblin. Hopefully we draw a Swap Frog or a Treeborn or something. See if they let this go through. I never like to draw until they add that 1000, just in case they're going to stop it for some reason. Okay, it signifies that they are going to let it go through. Another Soul Exchange. Really, really good. So now, I'm just going to, given what we have, I'm just going to play it out. I'm going to Soul Exchange. And I'm going to Tribute for this. Caius is going to get his monster off the board. If he changes this, that's okay. If it's pulling, it's okay. All that's okay, right? Because we have Gores, we have Cold Wave, we have Caius. So I'm going to pass. And now he went first. He has 4 to R5. He has a Plague in the graveyard and a Vayu. So it's almost like more than that, but... But I still feel good about the position. And I don't want to set Torrential right now because I think the only thing he could do is probably set Raioh. I don't think he's going to summon anything. By not summoning, he's probably holding Sirocco, right? So I'm just going to pass. Give us another chance to drop Gore's Cold Wave Caius, because that really hurt. So he does nothing. Now we're still looking for Swap Frog. And we didn't get one, and we still don't need to do anything, right? Let's take a couple seconds to make him think that we're going to do something, or that we're debating making a play, but we're not making anything. We know that already. It's the same scenario as last turn. Let me check my grave like I'm desperate for something. Check his grave to see. Might have a Dark Arm. All this stuff is okay. We're in a fine spot. Next turn, we're going to have to play a card. If we lose Torrential to Raioh, that's really the only thing I see happening, but... There's our little baby boy. There's our little baby boy. We could probably just set him, right? If they want to flip Raioh and start going sick, they can do that. I'm just going to set him and pass. Should have shuffled my hand to make him think that I have new cards. If it's Necro Gardener or something, that's fine. That's fine. That's perfect. Does shoot Book Raioh with a Vayu and a Plague Spreader. I'm going to take the 200. I'm not going to drop Gores on that. We could save that for later on. Now Treeborn is going to come back. Okay, no it's not. Okay. Now I think same thing, right? We could probably soul exchange. Now we have plenty of stuff later. We have Battle Fader and stuff. We could soul exchange. Do the same thing with the Raioh. Might just be another bottomless. We don't have to do anything. We could just set Torrential right here. Because, yeah, I think we're just going to set Torrential. We're not going to soul exchange. We're not going to do anything crazy. I'd rather soul exchange a better monster. And unless he wants to book and then flip it and destroy this. But then we'll chain it and he'll go -1. We're just going to go... We're just going to play the slow game right now. There's no reason to do anything else. If we draw Swap Frog, we run over that and we're in a good spot. Doesn't seem like we're drawing it anytime soon, unfortunately. I don't want to set this. I don't want to do anything, to tell you the truth. I don't want to do anything. I kind of want to set Cold Wave so that we could... But I need that in my hand. We're going to set Econ, just in case you make a Fader play and he tries to do something. Could have Oppression set again. I'm not 100% sure. Right now the game's getting a little hairy. A Value Plague. 4 Darks, right, with the Crow. You could Plague. Yeah, we're okay. Unless he has Starlight Road, Dark Arm, Oppression, then that's going to be... Ooh, what was that? I mean, that's very, very illegal to do that. But what am I going to do? No priority. I think we're going to Torrential. If he Starlight Roads, he Starlight Roads. The Raioh killed a Treeborn, the DD Crow removed it, so he's pretty minus. And now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing by. We really, really, really need a Swap Frog is what we need. Desperately, desperately. I'm going to set this. Cards that I don't really want to set, but cards that are going to end up leaving the field at some point anyway. Yeah, he has a ton of Siroccos in his hand. That's what we're getting at. I can't discard any. This is absurd that I can't play my cards right now. This is wild. I'm going to set all my cards until... I just can't set Battle Fader. You know what I mean? I just can't bring myself to do it. This is a much better play. Alright, there he finally arrives. A turn too late, but he's finally here. Welcome to the party. You son of a bitch. That could be another value. Could be Necro. Could be the third Raioh, right? I don't think it is. But I'm going to play this, try to get these cards off the field now. I'm going to soul exchange that. Okay. Quick interruption. Now, when my opponent flipped Mask of Restrict, I realized I couldn't tribute any of his monsters for Monarch, but I figured I'll just summon Substitoad, get another Frog, and then get Treeborn and Grave, and that's it. Didn't even realize Substitoad tributes himself. You can't use Substitoad. So, neither of us caught it for a few turns, and then when my opponent finally said, "Oh, wait a minute, I don't think you could have tributed for Substitoad," I said, "Oh, yeah, you're right. What should we do?" And he said the game could just progress the way it was going, but with Treeborn in the grave, at that point my hand was so good and I really had a feeling I was just going to win from there. I ended up just conceding the game. I kept the footage in, and that's what you're about to see. Just, I guess as a hypothetical, if I could have tributed Substitoad, what would have transpired after that, but the entire thing is null and void because that couldn't have even happened anyway. So if you want to skip ahead to Game 3 or the side decking after Game 2, feel free to do so. But yeah, huge mistake on my part, and a mistake on his part for not catching it until he did. But yeah, I wanted to keep the footage of this game in this video because it was such a good set of 3 games, and I didn't want one error like that to really diminish the entire match. So I tried to do the right thing and forfeit that game, but I kept the footage in anyway, so... Okay, nothing I could do to that. He hit me with the straight up no. He just said no. But this is okay now. It's Necro, it's Necro. If it's Raioh, that's fine. Yep. Prefer him to hit the other card, but what could we do? There's a Sirocco, Armageddon Knight. Alright, 3 Raikos are gone. That Cold Wave is tough, but we're not going anywhere yet. I'm gonna pass because we're gonna go minus anyway, so might as well take less battle damage. We literally can't do anything right now. We're a little stuck right now. Good side deck card. But this is gonna be okay, I think. If we could... That's fine. A lot of cards. Gotta get that Mask of Restrict off the board is what we really gotta do. So I'm just going to take 13. We know he has a Plague Spreader Engrave and a lot of dark monsters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 darks. Draw. Oh, like the hat on my little head. Interesting. But I'm not going to play that yet. I'm just going to play this. Okay, he's not doing anything, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to lose a card right now. I think next turn we're gonna go draw. I didn't want a heavy and lose my Cold Wave, because I can get Fader on the field next turn. I can heavy next turn. I guess I could just block an attack, right? There's no reason to throw a card into the graveyard. And I didn't want to heavy go 2 for 2 because I don't have any way to deal with his board currently. So heavying next turn when I can get Treeborn back on the field because of the situation that we put ourselves in with setting our cards so we didn't have to go minus on anything. Oh, did I do that? Let's check the log. That if I did, yeah, that's awful. Welcome to the Masterclass. Well, where are we in this log now? Oh, he activated Mask of Restrict, and then I played Substitute immediately after. Literally instantly. Wow. Okay, you can't tribute monsters. This card says you could tribute a monster. This card says you can't tribute cards. So that's I'm gonna give him the win. That's the only thing to do. So that's not right. So let's try to make it as right as we can by giving the win and trying to win this game 3 now, shall we? So let's do this the right way. Let's get Upstart Goblin in there. We know that he's playing really good cards, so let's get Torrential out of there. We need to put these knocks in. Wow, we gotta make a right mess out of this deck. Unfortunately, if we could get Lad on the field as quickly as possible, that would be great. That would be great. The Stalos we could use less of. Let's see. This is quite a mess. And I said I was going to put water arts back in, but now I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I think it is a good idea. I don't know if we could fit 3. Wow, this deck is getting really out of control right now. I'm going to take one of the knocks out. I don't feel right about it. Alright, so, honest mistake. Right after he played the card. What can you do? Pretty bad hand. I could set Dust, Soul Exchange, Vanity's Fiend, knock. I'm just going to do that. I don't think he... we don't have frogs anyway, so Dust doesn't really matter if it's in the grave right now. We'll worry about that. That's not even going to be relevant, I don't think. With this hand, with Knock and Vanity's Fiend, Coldway, I think we're in a pretty good spot. Hopefully he doesn't have anything wild, and if he does, that's fine. So a T set. I think that's worth dusting. It is Mask. Alright, that's a Caius. It's a good card. Now we could Soul Exchange Vanity's Fiend, and I think that puts us in a really good spot. And we could save Knock for the second Raioh. I'm going to assume that's Raioh. I am going to Soul Exchange right off the rip. I am going to tribute it. It's a Vayu. That's fine. And I'm going to pass. Alright, now this is a great board for us. Very, very good board for us. I don't think he's siding in Smashing Ground or anything like that. If he has books, he has books. But this card, and then if we can get Swap Frog next turn, we'll hopefully soon, then we're in just a fantastic, fantastic position. Yeah, he's definitely weighing his options right now because that could be Sirocco, could be Raioh. Either way, we got to get it off the field, right? Raioh is going to take care of this card. And we don't want that. And we don't want to do anything to get this card off the field, like attacking or anything crazy like that, until we know we can start dropping these Monarchs on the field. Because if I attack into a deep prison or something right now, then that might be it. The game's not over, that's the thing. Oh, good, they're back. Alright. I thought they were gone. I was going to say that. There's no reason to leave. They should get all the Raikos out of the deck if it's a Raioh. It is a Sirocco. Now, we pass. We give him no reason to get this off the field. None. Absolutely none. That would have been a great Raioh, but unfortunately it's not. He could Soul Release. Yeah, I don't know. Unless he has Book of Moon, he could get this off the field. He needs another Mask of Restrict. He needs a lot of cards to put himself in a really, really good spot. If that's Raioh, then we're going to be hurting, but... It's interesting. I don't want to sack Vanity's Fiend. I'm going to Cold Wave. If he really had Vayu set turn 1, Sirocco set turn 2, Raioh set turn 3, that's just playing the game brilliantly. Really, really brilliantly. Another Mask of Restrict set, and we're in deep trouble if that's a Raioh. They are thinking about this one. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing. As a DD Crow. He sets DD Crow. but I can't not attack, right? I mean, that just wouldn't make sense. Okay. Okay, yeah, Mask or Restrict is a very damaging card to us. Could be pulling the rug, because I don't think... I mean, I'm pretty sure he would side Oppression right out. Probably keep the Deep Prisons in. We can't afford to lose this card. So we're not gonna. We're just gonna pass and make him waste his cards. That's fine. Okay. Okay. Same deal. Let him pitch all of his cards. Let him load up that graveyard. Now we have Fader, which is great to have. We have Brainwave Econ. If he has Restrict, he has Restrict. That is unfortunate if he has it. He had Book the whole time. That's a very workable card for us. That's fine. I want to see if he overextends with the graveyard. Because he does. I mean, he has it. Maybe that's what that deck's supposed to do. I mean, personally, I don't know if I'd be putting that much pressure on. Unless he has a Dark Arm or something too, in which case he's going to take a hurt in next turn, I think. If he removes both. Pitch, Plague Spreader, put one back, Special Summon, drop Dad, Raioh, remove for Fader. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the 23. He did nothing to that. Or he just attacked like it was nothing. So, wow, great card to draw. Great card to draw. I'm going to activate Brain. I'm going to do it now. I don't want to wait too long because I'm not sure what the back row is, and I can't really afford to waste time because you can Oppression Battle Fader. So, I don't want to not do anything, drop Fader, he Oppressions, he attacks for game with 900 more life points, or 1700 more, rather. So I'm going to attack. Greffer, Crow, Vayu. I could put Vanity's Fiend on the field again. Does he have Torrential? Does he have other cards? I'm not sure what he has. But I am going to put Vanity's Fiend back on the field. Out of all these cards, it could be pulling the rug. It could be a bunch of different things. But now we have Dust to drop Fader, and we have Econ to take his monster, Tribute, put cards on the field. We're in a pretty good spot right now. He's setting back rows. I can't just pick one out of a hat, right? Oh, look who decides to show up. I can't just pick one out of a hat. I want to see how deep he's going to go with these back rows now. I mean, this is the point of the game where I think we need to start applying pressure because Swap Frog is going to help us a lot. So I'm going to attack. If he gets it off the field somehow, that's fine. If he gets it off the field, that's fine. Because now, main phase 2, we could summon our Swap Frog. If he has pulling the rug, that's fine. Because here's our little baby. There's our little boy. To the hand, pass. Simple. At 49, we still don't need to drop Fader yet. This would be a great Dust Tornado Gores that I would love to be able to play. But we're going to keep this fader until last possible second if we can. So 25 is good. Another back row. Start turn. That's a great, wow, I love these Dust Tornadoes. Standby, I'm going to activate Dust Tornado on the new card. That is a Solemn Judgment. So Treeborn is going to come back. That's great. Goes a match. Eligible one attribute and all other one attribute. So I can only control water. So I'm going to tribute this. Take this. I'm pretty sure that's legal because I'm tributing this to take this. So now I can only control dark monsters, which is not bad at all for us. I'm gonna attack. DD Crow, Dark Refer. If he has Dark Arm, then we still are okay. So main phase 2, I think we could Caius remove this, right? And then we could dust this when it's time. Or we could Caius try to get rid of this, then he's going to use that. Solemn, Mirror Force, Mask, or Restrict. Yeah, I'm going to tribute it for Caius. Good thing we had Caius. I'm going to use the effect. I could go +1 right now if I yearn for this, and this is Torrential. Let me think about this. This is a big one because I need Treeborn on the field. I am actually going to get rid of this because we have Fader. So even if he does Torrential, okay, Bottomless is, that's a better play. Alright. I'm at 24. He has 3 darks in hand. Do I want to set Dust Tornado right now? That is a huge question because if he sets Raioh, I'm in big, big trouble. If he doesn't attack next turn, I'm in serious trouble. If he does summon a monster, attempt to attack, set a back row, I'm in really good shape. But if he just drops Dark Arm, then I'm in pretty bad shape. But then we still get Treeborn back. So I'm going to set it. I'm going to set it because we have Fader. And if we draw another frog, we could special summon it by pitching 1. So an interesting call by me, but I'm going to do it. That's fine. That's fine. Pitches a Caius. Gets a value. So now I can make Silverwind and go for game. One, two, three, four, 5. I have a hard time thinking he's gonna drop Dark Arm and not pop this back row if he has it. Okay. Now we're in the clear, I think. If he sets a back row or not, we're good. He does not set one. Now, I think we really only have one play, right? Pretty simple play. We need to normal summon. Put that back in your deck. Two Sirocco's are gone. All 3 values are gone. He is not responding. There we go. Attack for 7. Now we can't set any more back row. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, we can't set a back row and it doesn't really apply right now. So he sets 1, draw. Okay, let's think now. It's probably Raioh, could be Necro Gardna. But I'm going to attack into it because we're going to get a card out of his hand next turn anyway, right? So he has no more values. Allure Gores DD Crow. Main phase 2, I'm going to normal summon Swap Frog. And I'm going to put this Treeborn in the grave. So we have 2. And now I do want to see his hand and try to get a monster out of his hand. Hopefully Sirocco. And I'm going to pass. And then when he draws, I'm going to Mortar Art. And hopefully he has a spell or trap card to set. So I could dust it. That's what we want to leave in his hand, is a spell or a trap card. But he just has a Caius. This is a crazy good card to have. So he just has a Caius. That's all he has. It's a good game. He just has a Caius. Setting this Dust Tornado is hurt us, right? But how many more monsters can he draw? He definitely has more back rows coming, so I think we're still in an okay spot. He has a Caius. I have a lad that I can't do anything with, so I gotta pass. Hopefully he sets a back row, and that puts us back in the game a little bit. I still think we're in an okay position. I don't hate our position. But I really thought he would have a back row by now. If he has a monster, he has a monster. If he has a soul release, he wins. If he sets one, then we're okay. But he does not. Okay. Let's check what we got. How many swaps? Just one. Alright. This isn't bad. Normal summon our Toady. Tribute him. Special summon Swap Frog. Use the effect to dump Swap Frog, because Substitute has a big ass. Gores is gone, right? Where did I see a Gores? I didn't see a Gores this game? I didn't see a Gores this game. There he is. I literally just looked at him. So it's a free attack. And now we gotta do this again. Very precise playing right now. Going to do this again. Hopefully he draws a back row. There's a charge of the Light Brigade. Dark Arm Caius charge. Dark Arm Caius charge. Let me think. Only one Raioh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and his values are gone. Yeah, Caius Dark Arm. Let's do charge. We have to, right? We literally have to. So he has to pass. He's got to draw a back row eventually. This game is getting drawn out so heavily. But he has to just draw and set a back row at some point, and then we could just win the game, I think. I hope. If he sets Raioh, then we lose 100%. But luckily for us, he finally sets a back row. It's a book. So we have a frog back. All right. We could hang for a minute. Let's give him a little bit of life points. It's Caius and Dark Arm. I want to make a crazy play. Caius Dark Arm. If he draws Soul Release, he wins. If I get Lad on the field, I'm pretty sure I win. That's fine. But this is going to go back to my hand. If he decides to go Goyo, then this is going to kill it, so we're okay. So he's Caius and Dark Arm. It looks like... Oh, this is playing right to the end, I'll tell you what. don't think he wants to make Bryonic. He doesn't want to give me any life like that, and it still gives me a good opportunity next turn. I think Goyo would be his play, but I'm not sure what he thinks I have face down. I don't know if he would read the Dark Dust Spirit or not. Raioh is the better play, but he makes Goyo. So it's going to buy us a little more time. So Plague is gone. He drew an Arm Knight. He still has Dark Arm Caius now, right? Dark Arm Caius. If we draw another Monarch, we could do the same thing and get away with it. So we're going to special summon this guy in defense mode. He can't attack next turn. We're going to set this, and I think that's going to give us the win. He's counting for those darks, but you know damn well he's got about 1 million in there. All right. Did he draw something? What could he draw? I don't think there's a single card he could draw that can get him out of this. He has no chainable anything. He has no 3 darks. He has nothing. Drew a Chaos Sorcerer, that's fine. Good card. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. It's still a good spot for us. Could have sacked it for Caius. It wouldn't have negated. Now, do I want to drop this second lad right now? Because he still has Caius Dark Arm, right? I attack for a bang out. Oh yeah, I attack, I bang out. Kills my field. And that's it. He has no Necro Gardener. Yeah, he should have sacked for Caius and then... Wow, close game. That is a game that took a long time. That is a grind of a game, but that sometimes games like this go that deep. And me setting that Dust Tornado, that's something that I could be overthinking now like crazy. That by itself changes the entire shape of a game, but I'm happy that this game took as long as it did because you really get to see it's not so much like draw, everything goes perfectly, your opponent opens Gilman, you get Treeborn and Fader or Econ and drop Lad, and then you just win from there with the second ladder or just Monarch control. Sometimes it's going to get really grindy. This is one of the most popular decks right now. I think people think it's probably the best deck. This kid had Goes and Match in the side deck. He had DD Crows, Masker Restrict, just a lot. It's a lot to handle sometimes, but this deck is resilient, and Battle Fader kept us alive as Battle Fader does, and everything ended up going according to plan. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Apologize about the Substitute. That I hope I made it okay by giving him the game 2 win. I feel like that's the only thing I could have done because he was nice about it, but my hand was so good I was going to heavy, and I don't think he had Starlight Road, and I was just going to go sick from there, so I didn't want to do that. Didn't feel right, but I still feel badly about it because I shouldn't have even done that in the first place. So it's just a lack of awareness on my end, and ended up wasting time because I probably would have just scooped right there, or that's probably how the game would have went. It would have lasted like 30 more seconds. Anyway, because that didn't happen, hopefully what transpired from that, after that, you got to see a little bit more of how the deck plays. The more you see the deck play, the better, even if it was all not even supposed to have happened in the first place. Good luck, have fun, because the most important thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is being polite, right? Yeah, fuck you, I won that rock, paper, scissors. No, I'm just kidding, Alright, so let's see what we can do. Okay, good hand. What are we looking for? A frog. But we don't get one. So, nothing we could really do. We're just going to pass. We don't want to lock ourselves setting MST or heavy or anything like that. So, summons a Raioh. That's okay. 1, 2 back rows. Shows the Wyvern. So he has Wyvern in his hand, so that's pretty good for us. Standby phase, looking for maybe a dust shoot. Nothing. So, we're in heavy. See, 2 deep prisons. In this scenario, I had both, but in this format, I really think if you don't have Starlight Road or Solemn, you should only be setting 1. You can't special summon light or dark monsters. Alright, so I'm just going to activate Soul Exchange. I know he has the Wyvern, but I don't want to keep taking 19 shots, right? We got to get some board presence. So, I'd like to wait a second, see if they're going to shuffle their hand or not. And then I'm going to pick this middle one and hope that it's not a Wyvern. Mirror Force, alright. So, what could I really do now, right? I mean, is he just going to start going crazy, summon, remove? Do I need to set Econ? I think Econ's probably the only card we're going to set. Normally we save that in the hand for when we have Treeborn coming back. But in this scenario, in case he goes summon, remove for Red Eyes Darkness Metal, I like to be able to do something about that. So, another Caius. That's great. Now here's the thing, I don't want to lose to Gores. He set 2 deep prisons on turn 1, and that tells me I don't think he has a Gores. So I'm going to try to get that Wyvern removed from play. That's my read, that it is a Wyvern. It might be something else. There it is. That's a wind monster, so you don't take 1,000. LOL, try to be nice about it. So same position, now we have another Caius for next turn. Looks like his deck is playing kind of slowly right now, and that's great for us. We went first. We have 5 to his 3. Still waiting for a Treeborn, but we'll take a Fader. And now I'm effectively losing a card by doing this, right? I'm getting rid of a card to put a card on the field where I could just run this over for free. Completely for free. And I could Battle Fader Caius next turn. But I'm a little concerned on what that is. I'm actually going to just drop the Caius. This could be a little overextension. But it could also be detrimental to him winning. So that's a good hit, I think, because then we would leave a card on the field for him. Unless we tributed and then removed that monster. Now we kind of have him locked, but not locked. I mean, now the lock is completely over, right? So there's our Gores, and now we got a swing. Another Wyvern. Alright, so that's a good hit, right? End phase, he could bring the Raioh back. I don't want to do anything crazy. Small part of me wants to set the Battle Fader because the next turn we could tribute if he tries to attack it. Actually, I'm going to play a little crazy because we have Gores. So this is a little crazy now. If he tries to do anything super wild, which I don't think he's going to do. Okay, that's a great card to draw. That just eliminates the lad play. And that does 48. So, just going to throw that back on top. And that should be it for game 1. So we saw dragons, we saw Mass Dragon, and we saw Wyverns, right? Now Wyverns we don't want. It's a special summon deck for sure, so Vanity's Fiend is going to completely shut that deck down. But we have to side for the side deck, right? So he's probably going to put in his own DD Crows, which we can't really do too much about. But Masker Restrict and pulling the rug, and Kawaki Miru Raioh for no special summoning. But we don't really special summon anything except Fader and Gore, so it's not a huge problem. But I'm going to put at least 2 dust in. I like to take out the Water Arts going second. I'm going to take out these upstarts. And we need one more. Soul Exchange is going to be our friend in this game. That deck, you know, that was just a pretty fluent playthrough. I'm going to take out 1 for 1 too. Let's see. Soul Exchange Crow. The dusts are good. I almost want to put in a third dust. Thinking about it. Torrential's good in this matchup. Torrential's pretty good in this matchup. I think we're going to throw Torrential in too. Can we fit Torrential and Dust right now? And Cold Wave he probably has chainable back row. And we can get at the Stalos out of there because we're putting in so many Monarchs, right? So side decking can't stress enough how important it is really in every format. Alright, so solid hand with Brain Control and a Monarch. Feel like we're going to take some damage turn 2, or our second turn, but that's okay. See, Gold Sark, Future Fusion. Great card. Especially in Dragons, 5-headed Dragon. Definitely a really good card. Alright, so now we got options, right? Shows me a Totem Dragon. Alright, so a Dragon deck. He's leaving this on the field. That's okay with me. So now I'm thinking, I mean, if this is Masker Restrict, that's pretty unfortunate for us. Maybe we just set Dust Tornado and pass, right? And then Brain Control, Tribute both for Lad. I think that's a pretty good play. It's a game-winning play. I could Brain Control, Tribute for the Stalos, try to get a card out of his hand. I could do it for Raioh and probably hit. What do we see? You know, Deep Prison Mirror Force last game. So I'm thinking we could fade her when he attacks. Oh, actually we can't fade her. I'm sorry, we can't special summon Dark Monsters. But we're gonna play this a little bit differently then. Shows the Totem Dragon again, no problem. Another Thestalos. Alright, now, because he set another monster, and this Future Fusion is really, really good, I'm going to play Brain Control. I'm going to try to slow him down a little bit by attributing this for Raioh and putting the monster back on top. If it's pulling the rug, then, you know, we're taking a hit. Give him an attack. If it's Deep Prison, that's okay. It's not. Now we pass. But now this is pretty good because we have a Fader with 2 Monarchs. He can get his Future Fusion. We've successfully kept our Dust Tornado on the field up until this point. Hopefully he just plays it without anything crazy. Alright, so that's a big, big hit. I want to get those back rows out of the way, but, well, specifically this one, but that's okay. Okay, not much we could do to that, and unfortunately we put Raioh back on top, so now we're in a really, really tight spot. Now we can't special summon this Battle Fader, and we're going to have to take 23 to the face. This might go to game 3 very quickly, because that Raioh, good side deck card. Another Totem Dragon in his hand. Heavy Storm's not really helping us. Alright, so that's a quick one, right? Kokomir Dragu just completely took care of us. We can't put Cyber Dragons in. He's done siding already. But we are absolutely going to side and put some cards in. We got to get Vanity's Fiend out as quickly as possible. I want to put 1 for 1 on the field, or 1 for 1 back in my deck, rather. Dust Tornado proved to be pretty good. I'm thinking we could take out 1 Crow. Once we get Vanity's Fiend on the field, we're in a very, very good spot. Dark Dust is going to be our friend. He's playing a lot of the Dragos, so maybe we could afford to take out a Fader. And maybe we could afford to take out a Lad. Because now we're just trying to play quick. I want to put the Upstart Goblins back in. I think I'm going to make one little niche play and put an Upstart in just to try to get through everything faster. Good luck. Hopefully we draw some good cards, right? So no frogs. No frogs. Oh, there he is. Good man. Now this is great. This is great because we have Swap Frog for next turn too. So we're going to put him back in the hand. And I think we're okay to set Dust. And we are going to set that Dust in case he opens Future Fusion. And we see he has a lot of traps. It's a trap heavy deck. So if we can Dust a back row, rise a card back, then we're okay. Maybe we have to keep Dust for that Future Fusion, but I don't really want to do that. If he summons Drago, let's see. Alright, he's going to tribute that right away for Red Eye's Darkness Metal. And that's fine. There's a Mass Dragon, that's no worries. That's not Kokomi or Dragu, so now we could special summon this Fader. And no back row. Okay, that's good for us, right? Another Dust, that's really good for us. Even though we got Treeborn and Grave, I'm very happy with this right now. Because we have this guy. That's going to make for a serious problem. So, he had to special summon this from his hand, not his graveyard. So he really went summon, gave himself a -1. We're going to be able to tribute this for Dark Dust. This has to be destroyed by battle to get its effect. So we can swing right here. End phase, put him right back in the hand. And that's a solid turn. Now he has a Gold Sark. We have 6 to his 5 after Gold Sark comes back, but we have Frog. So we have a nice +1 and a Frog. And some life points. Do the life points really matter? Now we can't Fader. I'll take 18 this time. But perfect for us. We see a back row. And that's going to give us access to our Treeborn Frog now in our Ryza. Now if we had Lad, we could special summon Swap Frog by pitching, but wow, if we got DD Crow, wow, we're really just all ready right now. Really good position for us. And I think we are okay to put that thing right back on top of his deck, because that's a pretty bad draw. So he's going to draw that next turn. And also have Future Fusion, which we are covered with Dust. If that last card in his hand is something crazy, we have DD Crow. I think we're in a very good spot now. So, well, you know, game 2 we were able to get off that Future Fusion. It did virtually nothing. He still won the game pretty decisively. Well, that's got to be a Wyvern, right? Unfortunately, we can't do anything crazy except put him at exactly 2400 for next turn. So I'm just going to summon Swap Frog. And I'm going to dump our other Treeborn. Be, you know, very smart to know Wyvern's defense right now. I think it's like 1300. I don't like looking stuff up like that. I feel like that's kind of cheap. That's a Totem Dragon. Alright, so we could have ran it over. That's okay. So we know what he has in his hand, right? Main phase 2. Swap back to the hand. This card's in your graveyard during your standby phase and you control no monsters. You can special summon it. You can activate this effect if there are any monsters in your graveyard that are not dragon type. Okay, that's not a... We got Frog and Dark Dust Spear, right? We got 2 frogs, so Crow is not... I am going to DD Crow it though, because I don't... He just has a Wyvern and a mystery card, so I don't think he's doing too much else. If he happens to have a Red Eye's Darkness Metal. Then we have Dark Dust and Treeborn, and we're pretty good. But I think that's going to wrap it up, because we are going to do 6 and 24. It's a good game. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys feel like you learned anything from these videos or feel like I did anything wrong, please feel free to let me know. I hope you did learn something, and either way, I appreciate you just watching and experiencing Yu-Gi-Oh! With me. It's something that I've always loved to do so much, and being able to do this now is just so much fun to be able to share it with everybody else. I know there were a couple mishaps in what I was saying throughout the games. I think in that last game I said that my opponent had 5 after Gold Sark, when in reality it was only 4. So a couple little things like that. But I think overall I'm really happy with the way this video came out, and I plan on doing it for a ton of other decks, especially Edison format. So thank you guys again very, very much, and we'll see you in the next one.